All right. All right. Well, we're here for another sermon recap
Yeah.
from week 12 of the Exodus series. Can you
Whoa,
believe
that's kind of
that?
weird.
I know.
That's wild.
I know. From March 29th, The King, the Cloud, and the Covenant
Oh,
was
yeah.
the title of the sermon. And man, so many good things. As you and I were just talking, Chad, I had to cut out early to get ready for canvassing. But one thing that you mentioned that really spoke to me before I had to slip out was this idea of individual integrity.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but can you like recap that, define that again, and then there's something you said that maybe if we don't have good individual integrity, one shouldn't get married. And I was thinking, not that this is a recap that we want to just focus on marriage or single people, but what about the people that struggle with individual integrity and are already married?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we do with that? So maybe if you could like talk about individual integrity first, and then let's talk about, yeah, what do we do with that? How do we have good integrity?
Oh,
Yeah.
what a great question. So let me set that up by recapping
Hmm.
Exodus at large. Um, and I'm going to get to individual integrity because God calls us out. That's what Exodus is about. But it's not just to get us out, it's to help us to become a people. I've been wrestling with this because I've said it a couple different ways, and sometimes I think I say it wrong. He's delivering us out of something to something, but the out of to is a part of, as we say around here, becoming.
Hmm. Yeah.
It is to be with God, to become like God, Jesus, and to do what He did. We would probably around here define character just like that. Number one, it's not something you can do on your own.
Yeah.
You got to be
Yeah.
with Jesus.
Yeah.
Um, it's not something we just have, it's something we have to become. And how we become is that we do. And so, to put this back in Exodus, God is calling us out of a life that is not full of integrity.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe the opposite of integrity might be hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Um, the pretending I'm about something when
Hmm.
I'm not really.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it. The wilderness is where we now are. It's a journey. Uh, I've been thinking actually about this a lot here. I have a verse. I think it's on the screen. I'll read it. I got to put on my glasses to read it. But um, for me, it's the foundation. Exodus 23 verses 1 and 2. You must not follow a crowd in wrongdoing. This is God's words to them. I just put the period there, but then do not testify in a lawsuit and go along with the crowd to pervert justice. My paraphrase: don't lie,
Yeah.
don't do what's wrong. That's integrity. I'm going to put it on the screen. I don't know if it'll show up well. I'm looking over here. Yeah, it's not going to show up well. So I'm just gonna go to the blank screen again. But we talk about the critical journey around here, what we
Hmm.
call the discipleship journey. And in the fall, we talked about this, that there's this awesome moment where we become aware of God. That's the
Yeah.
miracles. The 10 plagues, that's God delivering them through the Red Sea. That God, you are unbelievable. This is awesome, and we'll follow you. We'll do what you say. And there begins to be this order in your life in such a way. But then, generally speaking, this is the point of transformation that begins to happen in people's lives. They hit a wall,
Hmm. Yeah.
and that's
Yep.
when we begin to lack. When we begin to become aware that we lack something.
Mm.
Um, but here's the theory: we never think we lack something.
Yeah.
It always starts with thinking somebody else lacks something.
Hmm.
So, the example using Exodus because that's safe, but I will get dangerous in a second. Um, Moses, I can't believe you brought us out here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been better if we would have died in Egypt? Moses, I can't, and just they grumble
Hmm.
nonstop. Here's what happens in a relationship, and I'm going to be very specific because we have enough people a part of our congregation that are single, married, or for choices beyond their control are single again,
Mhm.
all at different phases and
Yeah.
stages
Yeah.
of life. But integrity supersedes any age or stage of life.
Mhm.
And I said, and you asked the question, so I said, if you're not ready to have personal integrity, you shouldn't get married.
Mhm.
That's a pretty bold statement, but it's a
Yeah.
very true statement
Yeah.
because what I think we do, all people, is, and this here's how it works in marriage. Things aren't going well, and so we project, we
Mhm.
cast blame.
Yeah. It's their
Um,
fault, not
it's
my fault.
their fault.
Yeah.
If they were a good person, I would
Yeah.
do the right thing. If I were getting my needs fulfilled, I wouldn't do that any longer. If and you just you fill in that blank. And
Mhm.
so I'm here to say that I really believe that the spiritual journey is all about our maturation.
Yeah.
Marriage is about our maturation. Having kids is about our maturation. Losing loved ones is about our maturation. Our integration of integrity despite what's going on. So I just bring this back around. I said a phrase on Sunday. I'll see if I have it here. Holiness is the courage to stand alone when the mob is
Mhm.
wrong. Um,
Yeah.
Integrity is the time when your heart, your mind, and your actions are integrated.
Mhm.
You're doing what you actually believe.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really important. But now I want to try to actually answer your question. I went around your question in a lot of ways, but now I want to think about how to answer that. Here's the reality. Integrity starts, and a good marriage starts with the individual.
Mhm.
If I'm not willing to be transformed personally, to hit the wall, and I promise anybody in a relationship
It's
is
gonna hit.
going
Yeah.
they're going to experience the wilderness, this
Yeah.
place where they feel like they're alone. How can I feel alone? I'm married. How can I feel alone? I'm in a relationship. Or the idealism that if I were in a relationship, I wouldn't feel alone.
Mhm.
I've said to people in the past, you've never known a greater loneliness than to be in a relationship that's not right.
Mm. Yeah.
That is a deep area of loneliness. And so, how do we begin to? What I'd say to anybody is the goal is to begin to develop an integrity.
Mhm.
And here's what we do. We have to start small.
Yeah.
We have to first recognize and this is against the grain of our feelings. And I'll say this. I think I said it on Sunday as well. Biblical love isn't about our feelings.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just not about our feelings. And man, we're in our feelings. We live in a world that's about our feelings. And I'm growing in this more and more that gosh, my feelings are liars.
Mm. Yeah.
My emotions lie to me all the time. So does my mind.
Mhm.
So that's a really
Yeah.
tricky thing. So I've been thinking about this just a great deal. There's a couple big influences that I can mention. There is a Christian pastor, writer, thinker. His name is Pete Scazzaro. He wrote several books. Um, e- um, Emotionally healthy spirituality is
Yeah.
one of them, and then emotionally healthy relationships
Relationships. Yeah. Yeah.
is the other one. And he often talks about this, that one of the places where we struggle in relationships is we mind read.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've become aware of this yet. We actually can't mind read.
Mhm.
What we do when I think I know what you think is I am just thinking you're thinking what I'm thinking you're thinking. And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's probably pretty skewed. And
Mhm.
it always comes from a place of insecurity,
Yeah.
of fear. Pete Scazzero, I scribbled this down so I wouldn't forget it. He has this little uh device he uses in relationships. He says, here's the formula. I have to notice, wow,
Mm.
something's not right here.
Yeah.
Um, and then I have to confess what I'm imagining.
Mhm.
So, an example, um, to a husband to a spouse. Man, I came home. I noticed you're not talking to me. I imagine that you must be really mad at me
Mhm.
because I forgot to pick up the prescription at the
Yeah.
drugstore,
Yeah.
or I forgot to take the garbage out, or you must still be mad at me because I said a pretty snarky thing and you're hurt. In that, what we have just done is we have mind read,
Yeah.
and we could be totally wrong.
Mhm.
But he says this is what we have to do. We have to in our mind, we have to say, I notice. Okay, this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Then we have to say, and because of that, this is what I'm imagining that my spouse is saying. But here's what I think. I'm going to speak about men. Here's what I think cowardly men in our culture do. We avoid
Mhm.
everything we
Yeah.
just said.
Yeah.
Well, that's her problem. That's her problem. I've got plenty going on in my own life, and well, unfortunately, probably for a younger group of guys, it is sit down and play video games.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
totally look to numb out in some way to avoid.
Yeah.
And if it's not video games, older guys we avoid in different ways. We
Oh.
avoid in different ways too.
Yeah.
Easy for me to go right back to work.
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
Easy for me to go right back to engaging in. Easy to switch gears and say, I'll do something else. We don't go to the step of saying, man, I noticed I noticed that there's something wrong, but that's where we stop.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of, I imagine you're angry at me for, we numb out.
Yeah.
Pete
Good.
Scazzero suggests this last thing is we got to become courageous and ask the question. Well, actually, first make a statement. I came home, I noticed you're not talking to me. And then what happened is I imagined, oh man, here's all my faults and failures. What we're doing here is we are becoming vulnerable, which
Mhm.
men do not like to do. We're also stating the facts of this is all of the things I thought of that it could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what that is right there? Confession.
Mhm.
That is opening up a doorway for relationship. And then the next question is to ask, is any of that true?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that is such a level of vulnerability that
We avoid.
we avoid.
Many of us as men avoid. I want to go back to the very first thing you said is we have to notice. I think sometimes that our culture, our society as a whole, not just men, but maybe more often in men, it's like, well, we just use the excuse, well, I wasn't wired that way. I don't observe those things. Well, do you care?
Mhm.
That's the question that I want to ask guys. Do you care enough to learn a new skill? To want to grow in your relationship? Because it'd be easy for me to come home and say, oh, Kaylee's not talking to me. Well, this must be an opportunity for me to play more video games, for me to read another book, for me to go do whatever it is instead of observing that, wow, this isn't normally how it is when I come home. What's
Yeah,
going on? Um, but again, just avoiding it altogether and just not even wanting to observe that there's
yeah,
an issue here.
yeah,
Um, and I think that goes back to the integrity question. Like, are you who you say you are in that you want to be a good husband, a good
yeah.
father, or whoever, whatever it is, a good employee? Like this, I think this is beyond marriage. It's okay.
There
I
you
get to work and Chad's not talking to me. Okay. Um, hey, I'm observing that.
Yeah.
Hey, friend. Hey, brother. What's going on?
Yeah.
And that's just you and me. But and I mean, there's so many. This goes so beyond the marriage relationship. It's like, how do we are we willing to retrain our minds, our
Mm,
hearts, to be like Jesus and say,
yeah.
okay, I'm observing that something's not right.
Yeah.
What could it be, and now how do I address it?
That's it. This is the journey
Yeah.
inward.
Yes.
When we're hitting the wall in any regard, professionally, relationally, socially, we hit the wall and it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
And we've given all this effort. Our internal mindset usually is to quit,
Yeah.
to
Yep.
go
Like give
somewhere
up.
else. Um,
Yep.
I think this is true for all people. It takes many different forms. We've said this before in the church. It's I'm going to find a church where I'm appreciated. I'm going to
Yep.
find a church where, and so we just start over. In a relationship, all too often is I'm going to find an easier
Yeah.
way to get my needs met. That's what unfortunately leads a lot of people to social media relationships
Yep.
and other forms of not real relationships,
Yeah. Yep.
because they feel like they're getting their needs met at no cost.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
That.
the lie.
Yeah.
It's the cost of
Of everything.
everything.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
and we're man, we all have to be on guard against these things. The journey inward is a demand to stop saying my spouse or my boss or my friends or our government needs to change. It is the realization that there's only one person
Mm-hmm.
that I ultimately have influence over, and it's me.
Yeah. Yep.
I heard somebody say, Dr. Henry Cloud, Christian
Mm-hmm.
psychologist, say this a week or two ago, and I just wholeheartedly agree with him. Um, uh, that a majority of people want a relationship in their life to change.
Mm-hmm.
And what they really mean by that is they want the other person to change. But he
Yep.
said the number one best way for a relationship to be improved is to change yourself.
Yeah.
And that is learning to have new mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So, an example, I'm going to go flip side. I'm not a woman, but here's some things that I can recognize from different conversations I've had over the years. Often, a wife will come to me and she'll say, "I really want my husband to change." In essence, he is immature.
Mm-hmm.
Always true, by the way. Always true, by the way. Um, but she's asking to change him.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Cloud would say, okay, then here's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to change you. You've got to go in and you've got to begin to identify all the ways that you've shut down, all the ways that you are mind reading and projecting.
Yep.
Because I'll say this: men generally will shut down the moment mind reading begins to happen,
Mm-hmm.
because we're afraid.
Yeah.
I think men have a genuine fear of, man, being found out,
Mm-hmm.
imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not good enough. I'll never match up. And I think that over a couple decades here, men have been put in a place where, man, they're afraid to speak up at all
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
they will say something wrong. And so I would just say for men and women, we want our marriages to improve. Man, uh, there's nothing wrong with couples counseling, but the starting place is really self.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does God need to transform inside of me? Can I begin to be honest?
Mm-hmm.
Can I begin to say, yes, my yes is yes and my no is no?
Yeah.
This is really hard for many of us. But Jesus said it, right? Like, let your yes be yes and your
Yeah.
no be no. That was his equivalent to the verse that I just shared a moment ago from Exodus 23. This idea of don't be in the path of wrongdoers.
Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
like it is be firm on what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Yeah.
willing to
Yep.
set a boundary, and then make sure that what's inside you to the best of your ability is actually, well, I will say this, really believe it. What is on the inside of you is projected outward.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
in religious circles, we can do a good job of putting on a show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hypocrisy, not integrity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Integrity is when the outside and the inside really begin to match up. And
Yeah.
no, none of us are there yet. None of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But integrity is that long journey in the same direction.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a promised land I'm moving. I'm ultimately trying to move towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one reminder I have is Exodus 24. This reminder, in essence, the blood of the sacrifice
Yeah.
is sprinkled on the people. This is a reminder. Um, we will never be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
except the holiness of Christ imputed, given,
Yeah.
sprinkled, put on us. And so I just say we have to come back to boy, I got to turn to Jesus just constantly in
Yeah.
this. This
Yeah.
is the covenant relationship is ultimately about faith, accepting the faithfulness of God, in essence, saying, "Boy, I notice, Lord, when I am a failure, you forgive me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I imagine that you hate me and are ticked off at me,
Mm.
and so there is separation between us. Is that true, Lord?" And I think that that's the
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
the realization. Um, if we are willing to confess our sins, he is faithful and just
Mm-hmm.
to forgive us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the practice we need to begin to have in relationships. I've noticed this. I'm not perfect at this, but I think Liz would attest to the fact that I have practiced this idea of recognizing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
man, seems to me this is going on. Did I do something? Whereas early on, man, I probably didn't want to address many of those
Mm-hmm.
things, and
Yeah.
now I'm very quick to. And here's how sad it is for me. Most of the time, when I begin to ask the question, "Did I do this or this or this?" I'm wrong,
Yeah.
and
It's not.
that has trained me to
Yeah.
recognize that most of the time, the things that I'm imagining aren't
Aren't.
true at all.
Yeah.
Now, I'm probably getting better with time,
Mm-hmm.
but the one of the realities that I have faced is often my feelings are lying to me.
Yeah.
I feel it must be this because I feel like I should have met some expectation,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what she's thinking at all.
Yeah.
And so for all of us, I think the reality is, man, this communal relational thing, whether that is in friendship, in marriage, in an accountability relationship, an employer employee relationship, when we're willing to ask the next level question instead of mind reading,
Mm-hmm.
we're able to then begin to say, "Oh man, my feelings are so skewed.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me retrain my mindset, and begin to see the world from an outside perspective,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
I once heard a statistic. I have no clue if it's true. In asking the question, what percentage of people can actually see outside of themselves? The percentage was like, it was scary low. That only like 6 out of 10 people, something like that, actually have been mature enough, trained enough to be able to see the world from somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
walk around the whole world, seeing the world through their lens only. And
Mm-hmm.
just gotta say that is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think this is great application for our church family as a whole as we think of going out and doing what
Yeah,
Jesus did. Is if
that's
we are
good.
a people of integrity,
Yep.
I can only imagine what employers, family members, spouses are going to say
Yeah.
when we're willing to take the Jesus approach to observing and asking
Yeah.
the questions instead of just projecting what we think. And that will not only change the is changing the culture of our church, but it's going to change the culture of our society,
Yeah.
which will take time. But we are people that can begin there.
As I was, I just want to maybe two things, discuss two more things before we close up. A little bit of a shift, but not too big of a
Hmm.
shift. In Exodus 23, verse 32, it says, "You must not make a covenant with them or their gods. They must not remain in your land, or else they will make you sin against me.
Mm.
If you serve their gods, it will be a snare for you." And I've been thinking about this. A snare, of course, is a trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
A snare. I'm not a hunter, not especially not in the snare sense of
Mm.
hunting, but setting up a little wire trap that an animal runs through and it catches them, and it literally it either strangles them to
Yeah.
death and or holds them in place so long that they no longer
Yeah.
can survive. And I just thought that that was a really interesting thing, when we serve the gods of this world, when we
Mm.
serve the gods of our culture, when we give in to those, it's very clear here that
Yeah.
that becomes a snare to you. It takes you captive, it traps you, it's a noose
Mm.
that entangles you.
Yeah.
And then that leads me to Hebrews. Um, get rid of the sin that so easily entangles you.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
there is this connection here that I think part of this mindset thing is to ask, goodness gracious, what snares are set for me?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to begin to ask these questions is a way to begin to say, huh, I'm watching out for the snares, the traps in
Yeah.
life, and I'm not going to let them win.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so there are snares that are set for us culturally for our relationships,
Hmm.
men and women, and it's increasing. Um, it's always increasing. I just think of social media. I think of the culture around us, and that there are just little snares laid out for us
Hmm.
in all places, and they're not. I mean, a snare, if you really think about it, is not like a usually a scary, imposing thing.
Yeah.
It's a little tiny trap hidden,
Yeah. Sneaks up on her.
sneaks up on
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And I think we have snares in our relationships. Cultural beliefs about gender.
Hmm.
This is how men are.
Yeah.
This is how women are. And all of that is a cultural snare. It's a danger
Hmm.
zone. And
Yeah.
we have to be really careful what we allow our feelings to accept and to believe without going through mindset transformation.
Yeah.
Say, is that what God says about genders, about gender role? God actually says, and we won't take too long on this. Um, I just laugh the number of times I have conversations. Genesis, uh, God takes Adam and lays him down, and we've all just been taught God took a rib.
Hmm.
God took a rib from Adam. Probably 90% of people I talk to,
That's
that's
what it
what
was.
they're going to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is not the picture we get if we really
If we
read the
really,
text.
yeah.
If we really read the text, it says that God laid Adam down and he took from his side. Um, and we always talk about this. This is a kind of a pet thing for
Hmm.
me, a pet peeve for me. Probably a best modern paraphrase or translation would be God took from his side and made a counterpart.
Mm.
And the best way to look at that then would be a coin in our
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
A coin is one humanity with two sides.
Hmm.
The sides are different; they have distinction, but they're
Yeah.
part of one thing. And so, with that being said, I think that God has in mind that as humans we have different sides, but we together
Hmm.
complete isn't the right word, because only God can honestly complete us, but we were made that we cannot fulfill the image of God without the support of other people,
Yeah.
without the
Yeah.
help of other people. And with that being said, I think if we could go back to a biblical perspective of who people are supposed to be, and that we're helping one another, um, man, it changes a lot.
Yeah.
But last thing I want to mention, and I'll then give you last say or questions. But I mentioned on Sunday this powerful moment in Exodus 24 and the covenant ceremony and how that is like marriage. And there's this spot in verse 9. It says, Then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 Israelite elders, and they saw the God of Israel. And I felt like I was getting looked
Hmm.
when I said that, and so I thought what I would do here is throw it on the screen. I want to read it from a different translation. The ESV, English Standard Version, puts it like this: Then Moses, Aaron, and Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel went up, and they saw the God of Israel. There was under his feet, as it were, a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heavens, for clearness. And
Hmm.
I'll say the point I want to make is, what did they see of God? Because later in Exodus we're gonna
Yeah.
have the reality that God tells Moses, "You can't look at me
Hmm.
straight on, or you'll die."
Yeah.
That made me think, because I'm gonna Sunday we're gonna lean in for Easter to the Ark of the Covenant, and it makes me think of Indiana Jones, and in the Temple of Doom, or excuse me, Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I don't know if you've seen that movie or not.
No.
It's hilariously cheesy. They find the Ark of the Covenant, which is rumored, and these things are all over the world right now. This idea that the Ark has secret power of God, because it did
Yeah.
in the Old Testament. And so, anyway, these Nazis find it, and they open it up, and eventually, like, their faces melt off, which is actually a biblical picture. You
Yeah.
cannot
You
look at the
can't look at
glory
it.
of God and survive. And so, what we have them seeing here is something like the feet of God as
Mm.
he is
Yeah.
walking this portal, between this covenant portal between heaven and earth, that they are making this covenant, in eating this covenant meal. Um, they're able to see the path
Hmm.
of God.
Yeah.
And I think that is
Yeah.
pretty important. And I think, frankly, that's what we're talking about.
Hmm.
Um, do we want to be people of integrity? We'll seek the path of God.
Yeah.
We'll seek the path of God, and we won't just obey it, blind obedience. That's not what God is asking for. God is asking for relationship,
Hmm.
and it's a matter of trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we trust somebody, well, you're scared about gut. This is so cheesy, but scared to try a new food, but somebody you trust says, "No, really, it is good."
Hmm.
You're like, "I don't know." I did this with Lexi this morning. She's going through a fun phase, like kids do, of being really picky about different things, and um, maybe a little afraid she'd never say this, but to try something new. And so
Yeah.
this morning, I challenged her to taste this yogurt, and because I needed to find something nutritious to give
Hmm.
her.
Yeah.
She's just like, and I'm like, "Listen, I like it. You can trust me. It's really good. It's not, some yogurt's really like tart and gross. This isn't. This is really."
Mhm.
And she went and took this little taste. She just sat there with it for a minute. Of course, she's half asleep, but then she's like, "Okay." And I just thought to myself, this is a perfect picture of
Yeah.
what relationship does.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to work, but if you say it, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And this is what God's
Yeah.
saying is, you're not going anywhere that I haven't gone before you.
Yeah.
And so in our relationships, if we could begin to walk the path of God, here's what I know: individually we'll be transformed, and then together in
Mhm.
whatever relationship that is, we will be transformed.
Yeah.
It will
Yep.
transform the relationships around us. Walk the path
Love
of
it.
God.
Love it.
All
Okay,
right.
so as you were talking, I just thought about something. Maybe this is like totally off and my mind's just crazy. But I have the NIV and it says, "And saw the God of Israel." And when you're talking about the path, the feet, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't use the word Lord, capital Lord. They weren't talking about, I mean, yes, this is Yahweh, but they weren't talking about seeing Yahweh. They were talking about seeing the God of Israel. And then you explained it as like the feet or seeing the path of God. You think maybe that's why they chose the God of Israel? Because my mind goes, the God of Israel is your God. Israel is the path that you've taken. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense, or is that just my
Yeah.
mind going weird? Like this is the path of God, the God of Israel. You are the
Yes.
Israelites. This is where we've been. This is where we've gone. This is where we're going, kind of thing. Um, Instead of the word Lord or
Yeah.
God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There's so many different ways of that it could have been written
Yeah.
there. And I don't know. That's just kind of how my mind wandered when you were reading that.
I wish Jeremy were here
I
because
know.
he could take this to a different level. And side note, Jeremy's been ill and not with us. We didn't kick him out. Uh, but with that being said, I would say I think this is probably connecting a couple things together. They just made a covenant,
Hmm.
and we talked then about names matter.
Yes.
So now it's the God of Israel. This is a tie back to Genesis.
Hmm.
This is a tie to um, before God. This is the great thing here in all of this. And just a reminder, before God calls people to these behaviors, he calls them into relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, this is again back to trust. It's back to faith, and I think the God of Israel is this connection. I'm your God.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
tying you back to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Israel,
Yeah.
Jacob being Israel.
Israel. Yeah.
This is the new name.
Yep.
There's a name for you, and yes, your path is found here. Um, I could picture Jesus saying, "Follow me."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I
Same.
hear
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Awesome. Love it. Very good.
I'm really excited about Sunday. It's Easter.
It is Easter.
We got a lot of stuff coming up, but Easter, we're gonna jump into a large chunk of scripture together, and I'm gonna narrow it down to a couple important things. We're gonna look at the Ark of the Covenant, and it's gonna be there's some pretty cool. As I told you, this is the in movies today they do what they call Easter eggs.
Yeah.
This and Easter Sunday, I thought we'd do some Easter egg.
There you go.
Found some teaser trailers to Jesus in the midst of this
This.
narrative and story,
Awesome.
and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope everybody will bring somebody because I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a cool Sunday. So
Cool. And that we're going to be in Exodus 25, 25 and
yeah,
26.
we're going to be in 25, 26, 27,
Love. All right.
28.
Very good. Very
We're
good.
gonna we're gonna basically build ourselves up to we're gonna do a brief overview here of the whole tabernacle
Hmm.
and the practices that God gives them to actually begin to live out this
Yeah.
life together. Um, and we'll see how far we get with it
Sounds
this week
sounds
and
good.
in the next week. All right,
All right.
I think we better call it.
Let's call it.
Love you all. We'll see you.